Hi, Nick. Hi, stepchildren. Oh, and hi, Dan. Happy Monday. Nick, I'm making this video as a result of you getting me hooked on YouTube channels, specifically Dan Brown Universe. Dan, I like your stuff. You're a clever guy. I wanted to jump in on this debate that's been going on for about a week now between the guy called Blue Office Chair and Dan Brown concerning the validity of religion and most specifically Christianity and or the existence of a God. Dan, I have to say I was pretty surprised at the amount of definites you were throwing around in your last few arguments there. And what I mean by that is you use the word believe a lot. Things like, I do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God. Or, if you don't believe in the scientific explanation for the explanation of the universe, then you're an idiot. Seems like you have some very concrete beliefs about science and the way that things work. You actually went as far as to say that it's absolutely stupid to debate the scientific explanation of the existence of the universe. And while I tend to agree with you, and I'm anything but one of those PC universalists that thinks that nobody's stupid and we're all smart and special in our own right, I gotta say that I feel like your argument's a bit inaccurate, and you're diminishing your argument by using terms like definite or referring to scientific explanation of the existence of the universe as a single explanation. First off, science, as we refer to it, basically just means knowledge. And more specifically, the science what we normally speak about is the gathering of empirical data so we can predict the outcome of an experiment with a low degree of variance. That being said, that low degree of variance doesn't mean 100%. Normally science will settle for 99%, 99.5%. But any scientist that's worth his mustard will tell you that really when it comes down to science, we don't really know anything. The more we think we know, the more natural laws that we discover or create, the more we figure out that these things are true usually, but there's normally exceptions to every rule. A great example of this would be Newtonian physics. For years we thought we understood how forces worked and how the cosmos worked, and they all operated under these Newtonian ideals. Then we got into subatomic physics, and we realized that shit, none of this stuff actually works the way we thought it does, and we're quite possibly manifesting our own realities. All of that said, there is no one scientific explanation for the creation of the universe. As a matter of fact, any scientist that is, again, worth his mustard would probably humor every possible explanation. That's actually the flaw of the scientific method. You can't possibly test every single hypothesis out there. Now, while I do agree that I personally lean towards the Big Bang Theory, while there are probably membranes floating around in the 11th dimension that intersected and created this point, or this Big Bang that created everything and our universe is always expanding, I'm willing to admit that that's possibly wrong, and I'm guessing that you're willing to admit the same. Although I feel like the language you're using doesn't really represent that. So maybe I'm incorrect, maybe you are completely convinced that the Big Bang Theory is exactly how we came into being 13.5 billion years ago, but it seems like you're open to the possibility that maybe that's not correct. I guess what I'm really saying is, I'm a stickler for semantics sometimes. If your position is such that you believe that this is what is true based on empirical evidence that we have, but you're open to other options, I feel like you should say that, because that'll validate your argument for a lot of people. People that get distracted when anybody says they believe wholeheartedly in anything. Because to my knowledge, philosophy has never reconciled the answer to the question, does anything exist other than ourselves? So Dan, the long and the short of it is, I think I'm on the same page as you. I just think you should be careful when speaking about scientific theories as if they were concrete things. Scientific theories are but an ever-changing explanation of what it is we know at the moment. You know, geocentric universe gives way to heliocentric universe. Newtonian physics give way to Einsteinian physics, and relativity gives way to quantum physics. Nothing's ever constant with science, so there's a danger when speaking about things in definite terms. I respect the fact that you have faith in our understanding of things, and in the data that we've collected, the conclusions that we've drawn from the things that we've seen, and I personally feel the exact same way. But when we start speaking in definites, then we sound no different than those who definitely believe the Bible no matter what evidence there is to the contrary. Nick, stepchildren, see you tomorrow.